everyone. Welcome to our class in Statistics and Probability. Our topic for today is about random variables. And this is your Ma'am Cheryl C. Lagreso, Teacher 3 from Kalinog National Comprehensive High School. Before we start, let us have first our prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our students who are always willing to learn despite the difficulties of distance learning. Help our students balance social interaction, rest, learning, preparing for future and spiritual growth. Bless our students with godly friends, teachers, and adults who care about their future. Father, please give us teachers the right motivation and endurance to do our job despite the challenges brought to us by the new normal. Lord, this year has been challenging to us, but please settle our hearts that are worrying and bring peace to the hearts of those that are fearful of the future. Holy Spirit, please remind us all, teachers, students, and parents, that we can depend on you no matter what circumstances we are in. Help us to grow closer to you each day. This we ask in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. At this point, let me introduce to you first the objectives of today's class. At the end of the session, you are able to first identify and illustrate a random variable, may it be discrete or continuous. Number 2, distinguish between a discrete and a continuous random variable. And lastly, recognize the positive and negative outcome of playing casino. Let's try to watch this video first.
Place your bets, please. No more bets.
1 point.
One tie. Place your bets, please. No more bets.
8 point.
8-point high. Place your bets, please. No more bets.
13 point.
11 dragon.
Okay, there is our video. What have you noticed from that? Let us answer these questions. If you are the player, how likely that you are going to win the game? So as you can see, we have to bet either on dragon, on the tie, or the tiger in order to win the game. So whichever has the higher value of the card will be the winner. Let's have our question number 2. Where can you find this kind of game? Do you know where you can find this? Let's try to check out this place. What is this place? Yes, it's a casino. And for our last question, will this game benefit you or not? And why? Well, if you always win on this game, then you can say that it will benefit you. You can have this instant cash without having a lot of work to do. But then, let me take note of the probability that you will win on this game. try to check. We have three choices: dragon, tie, and tiger. So those are the three choices. And then, only you can bet once. There is 1 out of 3 chance of winning. And 1 divided by 3 is equal to 33.33%. It don't even get you to 50% chance of winning. So it means that there is less probability that you are going to win on this game. And do you think playing casino is good? Well, it's good when you don't get addicted into it. But some people get addicted into it and got a lot of debts because of playing casino. So, as a student, it's not good for you. Let's continue. Here is our activity 2. We have more questions to answer. What are the choices that you can choose from in order to win the Dragon Tiger? The choices are dragon, tie, and tiger. Next question. How many choices are there? So if we are going to check it, we have 1, 2, 3 choices. So we have 3 choices. Next question. What is the probability that the dragon will come out? As you can see, there is 1 choice for dragon. That is 1 out of 3, or 1/3. If you are going to convert it into decimal into percent, we get 0.33 or 33.33%. Next question. What is the probability that the tiger will come out? As you can see, there is 1 choice for a tiger out of 3 choices. So, that is 1/3, or same thing, we have 0.33 or 33.33%. What is the probability that there will be a tie? As you can see, there is also 1 choice for a tie. And we have 1 out of 3, so that is 0.33 or 33.33%. That is how you are going to solve for the probability. It's the number of outcome divided by the total possible number of outcomes. That's why we get 1/3. And try to think about it. Can you easily count the possible outcome? Yes, we can count it. We have 1, 2, 3. We can have 3 possible outcomes. So try to remember this concept because we are going to discuss this further later on. Let's have more examples. Example number 1. If you are tossing 3 coins, that's 1 coin at a time. So here is a 3 diagram showing the outcomes in tossing 3 coins in succession. In the first toss, you got a head and a tail. In the second toss, we got a head, next a tail, then another 4, a head also, and a tail. Lastly, for the third toss, under the head and the second head, we get another head. Next, under it again, we can have another tail. And also, for head, under head, and tail, we get the third as head and also tail. For the next, under the tail and head, we have head, and next is tail. And then, under the 2 tails, we can have another probability of getting head and a tail. So let me show you the table of the possible outcomes. First, we have the HHH. Second row, we have the HHT. Next is HTT. HTH rather. Next is HTT. Then again, for the next outcome, which is from the tail, we have THH, THT, TTH, and TTT. Now, if you are going to assign random variables x for the number of tails, then for the first outcome, we don't get any tails. So we have 0. Next is we get 1. Third, we get 1 also. Fourth, we get 2 tails. Fifth is we get 1 tail. Sixth is we get 2 tails. Seventh is we get another 2 tails. And last one is we get 3 tails. So as we can see now, the number of tails that can appear in tossing 3 coins is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 4 values for our random variables. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Next, let's have our example 2. It is the distance covered for 5 liters gasoline. So for the different types of car, we have Mitsubishi Mirage, Nissan Sentra, Toyota Corolla, Ford Wagon, and BMW Coupe. Okay, so as you can see there, the distance traveled for a 5-liter gasoline is shown on the second column. Now, let us answer this question. What is the distance covered by each type of car for 5-liter gasoline? So that will be 80.65 kilometers for the Mitsubishi, 58.49 kilometers for the Nissan Sentra, 65.79 kilometers for the Toyota Corolla, 34.01 kilometers for the Ford, and 58.14 kilometers for BMW. You can notice that the number of kilometers is represented in decimals. Let's try to answer this second question. What is the distance covered by each type of car for 10-liter gasoline? As you can see, we have 10-liter gasoline here, and the given there is only the distance traveled for 5-liter gasoline. That's why we have to multiply each by 2. So for the Mitsubishi Mirage, we have 80.65 times 2, we get 161.30. For the Nissan Sentra, we have 58.49 times 2, and we get 116.98. For the Toyota Corolla, we have 65.79 times 2, and that is equal to 131.58. For the Ford Wagon, we have 34.01 times 2, and that is 68.02. Lastly, for the BMW, we have 58.14 kilometers times 2, that is 116.28. Try to notice the changes in the distance covered as the number of liters for the gasoline increases. Next question. What is the distance covered by each type of car for 12-liter gasoline? Take note that there are 5-liter gasoline that is given there. So, that will become 12 divided by 5. And 12 divided by 5 will become 2.4. So that will be our multiplier for the distance traveled. For the Mitsubishi Mirage, we have 80.65 times 2.4, which is 193.56. Next, for the Nissan Sentra, 58.49 times 2.4, we get 140.38 rather. For the Toyota Corolla, we get 65.79 times 2.4, we get 157.90. For the fourth, we get 34.01 times 2.4. We have 81.62. And lastly, we have for the BMW, 58.14 times 2.4, which is 139.57. Now, after doing that, let us answer this question. What happens to the value of distance traveled as the volume of gasoline increases? What do you think? Mm-hmm. Did you get it correctly? Yes, it increases. And for those who don't get it correct, try to answer this next question. Can we equate the distance covered to a whole number? Do you think the distance traveled given there is a whole number? Mm-hmm. Is it? Okay, so that's the correct answer. Now, after discussing that, what now? Why are we discussing these examples? Okay, so we are now going to identify what are those random variables. Given that example, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, number of tails as possible outcomes. We have now the value for our random variable. It is defined as a variable whose value is dependent to the outcome of a well-defined random event or experiment. And on this case, the defined outcome is the number of tails in tossing of 3 coins. And also, it is a function that associates a real number to each element in the sample space. That's why we have associated the numbers 0, 1, 2, and 3 instead of writing 1 tail, 2 tails, 0 tails. We only put there a real number. And what are the kinds of random variables? We have discrete random variables, and the other one is the continuous random variable. A discrete variable is a variable that can be easily counted. Just like our first example, the number of times a tail appears in tossing of coins. We can count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is the continuous. The continuous random variable is a quantitative variable that can assume an infinitely many uncountable number of real values. And the example of it is the distance covered by car using a number of liters of gasoline. Okay, so we have now discussed the random variable and the kinds of random variable. I hope you understand it now. Ready for more? Let's have these exercises. Try this. From a box containing 4 black balls and 2 green balls, 3 balls are drawn in succession. Each ball is placed back in the box before the next draw is made. Let G be a random variable representing the number of green balls that occur. Find the values of the random variable G. Now, we are going to count if how many green balls will be there in our possible outcomes. Take note that each ball is placed back in the box before the next draw is made. So, here is our table, and if we are going to list the possible outcomes, we can have this. 3 blacks, 2 blacks plus green, black, green, black, green, black, green, black, green, green, and 3 greens. So these are the possible outcomes, and if we are going to count all the number of green balls, we can have for the first outcome, we have 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3. Now, the values of the random variable given this situation is 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. So, it is now easy for us to find the value of the random variable. All you have to do is associate it with a real number depending on the defined experiment. Next, tell whether the following variables are discrete or continuous. Number 1, the number of defective computers produced by a manufacturer. I'll give you 5 seconds. And the correct answer is yes, it's a discrete random variable because you can count the computers by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Let's continue. Number 2, the weight of newborns each year in a hospital. 5 seconds. What's your answer? Yes, it's a continuous random variable. It's because the weight can be 1.1 pounds, 2.5 pounds, and so on. That is represented in decimal form. Let's continue. Number 3, the number of siblings in a family of a region. Number of siblings. Take note of that. We have 5 seconds. Is your answer correct? Yes, the number of siblings can be counted in each of the family. Next, the amount of paint utilized in a building project. 5 seconds. It is a yes, because we can have that half liter, we can also have that 1/4 liter, we can also have that 1/8 liter for the amount of paint. Let's continue. The number of dropouts in a school district for a period of 5 years. Take note that people are dropping out and we count them. So, for 5 seconds, what will be your answer? Okay, that is a discrete random variable. Number 6, the amount of sugar in a cup of coffee. How do we measure the amount of sugar? Yes, that is a continuous random variable. Let's continue. The number of kilos of mangoes per matured mango tree this year. Take note, we are referring to the number of kilos of mangoes and not the number of pieces of mangoes. We are referring to the kilos. So, what will be that? Okay, that is a continuous random variable. Again, number 8, the number of patient arrival per hour in a clinic. What is it? Yes, it's a discrete random variable. Number 9, the number of deaths attributed to COVID-19 per day. Can we count it? Think of it. Yes, it's a discrete random variable. And lastly, for number 10, the height of the basketball players who joined the tryout in 2 years. Okay, it's a continuous random variable because the height can be represented in decimal form, especially when we are representing it in meters. Okay, I think you have already learned more about our discussion today. Just try to think about this. You can comment down below if what you have learned and answer these questions. Number 1, what is a random variable? Next, what is the difference between a continuous and discrete random variables? And lastly, how do you illustrate random variables? What did we do to show random variables? Think about it. I hope that you have learned a lot from this lesson, and let me give you your assessment. Let's try to check if how much did you learn from this lesson. Please prepare and try to screenshot the questions. For the first part, try to screenshot it. Okay, you can send the answers to me on Messenger. Continue. We have here our letter B. Try to screenshot. And we have also this letter C. Try to get a copy of the screenshot. Again, I will ask you to submit to me your answers through Messenger. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed. God bless us all.